What's up, guys? This is Jarrett from Hardcount Heroes. I just want to advise you that we did have some issues with the mic during the show. I got a new computer, so everything's a little bit fuzzy. But we're going to get fixed before the next show, so just bear with us for now and enjoy the show. Thank you. Welcome back to the Hardcount Heroes Fantasy Show. I'm your host, Jarrett, and I am joined by Nick, Bryce, Cameron, and Dalton. We're just coming off of Week 9 in the Fantasy League, and we're diving into Week 10. We just had a big trade go up between Nick and Cameron, but we'll get into that later. So before we get into anything, the Week 10 episode of Primetime Rundown is on YouTube right now. It went up yesterday at 7 a.m., and we covered this week's Primetime games, so Thursday, Sunday, Monday night, and we gave our predictions. So go check it out. Me and Dalton did it, and we're pretty happy with how it turned out. So we'd appreciate it if you took a look at it. Also, the Madden League for Hardcount Heroes Gaming is on the horizon and probably will release soon. We're still kind of working out some kinks right now, but we're going to get a plan together of that, and we're going to create some videos in that league. We're probably going to do a fantasy draft with it, and then we're going to do that with some of the podcast members. So we're going to live stream some games, create some videos from it. So we're excited to do that. And we hope you check that out as well once we get it up. So just be on the lookout. Okay, so we're just coming off of Week 9. And I feel like this week really kind of broke the league up into some tiers, I'd say. So before we talk about the matchups, I want to talk about what everyone's current records are right now. So if we look at the standings, Nick is coming in as 8-1 off of this week, and then we have a four-way tie with 5-4 with a couple of teams. Then we have two teams at 3-6, and then we have one team at the bottom as 2-7. So the first matchup we had was Back to the Future versus Nick's Chubb, me taking on Dyson. I pulled out the W in that one, 137.62 to 127.58. So I'm back in the W column, boys.
Yeah, that was definitely concerning right there. If you lost last week, then it would have been done for you.
Yeah, I was a little concerned. I was kind of panicking. I didn't want to drop 3 games in a row because that's definitely waved the red flag. What do you do then? But to get back in the W column, it feels good. Travis Etienne, I'm going to reiterate this every week. He's legit, man. 26.6 points. Season. He is an RB1. It is ETN season. It's been ETN season for like the past couple of weeks. And then Justin Jefferson also showed up for me, putting up 25 points with that. And then my bench, here's where the errors start. My bench went off. I ended up having multiple people on my bench put up good points. I know Christian Kirk had 21. And then Garrett Wilson had 17.9. DeAndre Swift, I kind of ran into a little debacle with my halfbacks in the RB2 slot. So I obviously just traded for DeAndre Swift. I was talking about him last show, and I didn't know if I wanted to start him, Raheem Mostert, or Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson was coming off the IR, so I was kind of shaky about him. I know DeAndre Swift was on a snap count, and then Raheem Mostert had a good matchup against Chicago, so I decided to start him, and unfortunately it didn't pay off for me. So what do you do? And then I also had Gerald Everett I picked up in replacement of Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews was out. And I know Cameron was roasting me this week for not sticking with Isaiah Likely, but Everett was supposed to have good matchups, and he flopped.
Pretty disappointing.
Yeah, pretty disappointing, I'd say. If you look at Dyson's lineup, he just kind of came up a little short. Tua had 24 for him. Eckler had 24, so Eckler's been constantly good this whole time. This year, he's been good the last couple of weeks. And I came into Monday night needing 20 from Lamar and Olave, and they got the job done. So I feel pretty good about that W. I don't know how Dyson feels being 5-4 now, like the rest of us. He was kind of in that upper echelon with you, Nick, and he drops to 5-4. Like I said,
he's going downhill.
Yeah, it might be true. Might be true. So I don't know if my team's going to stick on this roll. I really hope they do. And I'm happy with everyone's performance. Besides
just a really close matchup. And
Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin has not been good for me. He's getting a lot of targets, but the touchdowns aren't there. So we need to see some touchdown production out of him, and then I'd be a little more happier, I suppose. But that's how that matchup went. So both me and Dyson are 5-4 now. Rolling into the next matchup, we hyped up a lot last week. Judge Judy Cameron taking on Double Gulp Cup Nick. And Nick, you won this game by a score of 162 to 150.14. And Cameron, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah, Nick. My whole team just underperformed. I mean, I needed 85 points going into Sunday night, and that was my last slate. And I had Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, and Travis Kelce playing in that game. They put up a good fight, put me in reach. I was 2 points behind at the end of the game, and it was just out of reach.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes,
Kobe
good
Myers
game, 35.
was
Yeah, what about that
Kobe
quote
Myers.
you had
That was
did not age well.
did not.
Well,
I
I will
think that
say
was
I
the
was wrong
biggest
about that
factor.
take, but you were wrong about Devontae Smith as well, Nick. You said he was going to go off this week, so
Yeah, but then my whole team performed, so that's all I needed. They
I
kind
will
of
take
helped them.
partial blame for the
Yeah.
Devonta Smith hype.
I will say Zach Ertz was a surprise. Rondale Moore and Alan
Really,
Lazard came out of nowhere.
Zach Ertz he's been consistent. This is why I
I
traded for
just
him.
think it was a surprise for me.
Alan Lazard was kind of surprising for me too. Like I was not expecting that, but
So-
my team clutched up. We got the win. To be honest, if Jacoby Myers actually played well, it would have been a really close game.
If
So
I would have had
there's
James
rumors
Robinson in my lineup,
That Josh Allen might have a UCL tear, Nick. What
Yeah,
are you going to do there?
Well, we'll talk later about the trades and the pickups I made, but
Okay.
definitely concerning, but kind of have to see what happens.
All right, any last thoughts on that matchup, guys?
I made in one.
Go figure. That's what
So
he
much,
says.
so much for that highest scoring team in the league. So
hey,
Wow.
I still am the highest scoring team in the league.
did you win though?
No.
Wasn't really highest
Nick,
scoring when
Nick,
you
remember
went
how
against
you were
me.
saying last week how points don't
Oh, here we
matter?
go. Here we go.
How points don't matter, right? They mattered for you 2 weeks ago. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, I'm 2-0 against you, so.
You two sound like a married couple, all right? Jesus Christ. Fucking A.
But yeah, it was a definitely scary game. I thought I was going to lose that one. I was like, fuck that. I have to apologize to Cameron. I was like, no, keep the cocky attitude. Cocky attitude is 8-0.
Cool, man. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We had Watson's Massage Parlor Bryce taking on Big Ben Sexton Cooper. And Bryce, you fell in this one, 95.50 to 122.5. And I will say, in the last 2 weeks, the world has been turned upside down. And this week, it was turned right back over. Bryce is back to losing.
I'm just going to say what Cameron says every single week. My team underperformed. And it's literally what they did. I'm not going to lie.
Bryce, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that applies to your team just because let's look at your roster this week. You had Tyler Boyd as wide receiver 1 and Gabe Davis as your wide receiver 2. And if you compare that to any other roster in the league, it's just not there.
I didn't have anyone to start last week. Everyone was on buys.
Yeah, you had Debo on a buy.
Was out, he was out on buy. The week before that, he was out too. So I was already screwed over with him. Not Travis Kelce. George Kittle was on buy. Every one of my somewhat safe players that would kind of get me some points in the slack from the poor receivers was on bye week. So I didn't.
I don't even think Debo is really playing up to the value that you got him at. He was round 3, I think, a draft pick, and I think he's honestly underperformed for being a round 3 pick.
4. I think
it was something like that.
4.
Yeah, and Alvin Kamara shit the bed for you.
High. He did shit the bed this year. We're just going to remember that for next year.
Yeah, 9.2. I mean, nothing crazy. Aaron Jones did get hurt, but he only had 6.5 as well. And Kyler Murray, 19. I guess that's not terrible.
I didn't expect Kamara to get another 40-point week. I really didn't. That was.
Well, I wasn't expecting him to put under 10.
That's what I was going to say.
At
least expected 10, 15, on the low end, maybe 20 on the
9?
high, somewhere in there. But 9? That's just might as well kick me in the balls and take me out to dinner.
He's good in a random situation. He's a good flex player. I wouldn't say he'd be a good RB1 or 2.
He's not in his prime anymore, I'd say. Those
It's just
days,
one of those random
this
moments.
all this
Being a
is,
top
boys,
back
is
is
a
gone.
learning year for me next year. Learning year for me
there you
next
go.
year.
Rebuild.
But a good thing good thing for you is that you have 2 players above you that are really close to you. So you're 2-7. You're just 1 win away.
Yeah.
That is true.
Problem is, I got to pull that 1 win out of my ass, Nick.
You do.
I'm
Or
with
they
you,
have to
buddy.
lose.
It's okay.
Don't give me sympathy. I don't want your fucking sympathy. I don't need sympathy.
He's not a
Trying to be
Make-A-Wish
nice.
kid. Come on.
You
be
know
real
what?
here.
Speaking of Make-A-Wish kid, apparently Devontae Adams talked to one because he went out there and he got fucking,
36.
was it 36 points. What do you have, like 3 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns,
That was before
146
half.
yards receiving. Yeah, and he
They
caught
pulled
10
him,
balls.
They pulled him out after the half. They're like, you can just sit out the rest of the half. We're already up enough. We'll
Yeah,
put
that's
you in
nuts.
if we need you.
Yeah, they'll take him out halfway, but no, Joe Mixon.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh,
We'll get to that.
We'll fucking get there.
I don't want to
So
get there.
for Cooper's lineup, Justin Herbert underperformed. He only had 13 points. A big red flag I see in his lineup was his RB2 is Brian Robinson, and I believe he had A.J. Dillon in his flex. So I feel like those are the weak spots in his lineup. Is definitely running back. Tony Pollard, who I believe should be RB1 in Dallas, but as we discussed in last week's episode, Jerry's going to roll with Zeke as the RB1, regardless of how Tony Pollard does, which I think is a sham if you ask me. And Cooper should have started Geno Smith this week. He put up more points than Justin Herbert.
Geno Smith has been consistent in fantasy.
He has been. And then pivoting back to your team, Bryce, I will give you compliments on Juju. He's been sneaky good lately. He started the season off slow for me, so I got rid of him, and you picked him up, and he's been kind of under the radar, but he's been good.
He just didn't like you, Jarrett. That's all.
Yeah, he didn't like me. Juju wasn't about
wanted
it.
to trade.
He heard that I put him on my. He heard that he's on my fantasy team. He's like, oh shit, gotta pick it up a little bit. This kid's like the Make-A-Wish kid. He's not really getting a whole lot of points over here. Gotta do something for him.
So let's pivot into the last matchup then. We had 50 Shades of Trey, Dalton taking on Jordan's nut, Greg, and Greg is on a 5-game winning streak.
Hey,
Dude,
Greg,
busted
I know
my
you
all
run.
over me that night.
Greg, I know you don't listen to this podcast, but good for you. Good for you.
The score of this game was
story.
162.02 to 153.9. And Joe Mixon is your daddy, Dalton. 55
He got
points
bent over
with 5 touchdowns. That is unreal. That's got to be one of the best fantasy performances I've ever seen.
Motherfucker plays for Jordan's nut, but he busted his nut right on my fucking face.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
yo.
Yo.
Fuck.
Someone write that down. Write that down.
Clip that one.
So yeah, Joe Mixon absolutely annihilated the Carolina Panthers, and it just didn't even look fair. They won that game pretty handily. On the bright side for you, Dalton, Tyreek Hill was good. He put up 27. I think he's probably fantasy wide receiver 1 out of all receivers right now. You had Derek Carr on your bench. You put up 18 compared to Kirk Cousins 17. I thought the Vikings were going to do a lot better in that game against the Commanders, but the Commanders held their own for a while, so I'll give them that. And then I think even with this loss, you put up a lot of points, and I think there's a bright spot in your lineup with Jeff Wilson. So unfortunately, I was on the shit end of the stick here having Raheem Mostert, and in the first game with Miami, Jeff Wilson had more carries and more targets, and he basically got the larger workload than Raheem Mostert. So we'll get into that later. I ended up dropping Raheem Mostert, but Jeff Wilson's the guy to have in Miami. And then your 2 tight end strategy, which I usually hate, ended up working, and he had Dallas Goedert put up 24 points against the Texans.
I'm not a fan of doing the double tight end either, but I had to. I didn't really have any other. Everyone else except for Derek Carr on my bench was on bye.
Yeah, that's fair. So it ended up working out. Pivoting back over to Greg, Ramondre Stevenson was good again. Jalen Hurts is decent. And Leonard Fournette, who he just acquired from me in that trade. Fournette looks old and slow. I'm going to be honest with you. He only had 11. Not that efficient of a runner. 9 carries for 19 yards. Most of his points came off of receptions. So I don't know. That might be a red flag in his lineup. And then Dante Foreman didn't really get much work considering they had to play the catch-up game quite a bit, and DJ Moore looked bad. So
that was terrible.
Very.
DJ Moore was
that whole
going from
Panthers game
24,
was a
I think,
sham
last
for
week.
them. It was bad. Yeah. And then the Pats defense put up 26. So that was pretty impressive on their part. So Greg stays on this improbable run of going 5-0.
This is how Greg's been getting his wins.
Yeah.
His kickers and his defenses always perform. So they're putting up that little bit of extra points makes a difference. And that's how he's getting his wins lately.
Yeah. He's on an improbable run right
It's working.
Started 0-4. Now he's won 5 straight.
Comeback season.
And he's third in the league. Went from being like
Tom
7th to 3rd. I remember back in week 5, I made a graphic for the toilet bowl. And Greg was in it with Bryce. And it's crazy to think that Greg now is top 3 in the league. So
yeah.
And he's gunning for that number 2 spot right now, honestly. That whole middle is kind of a toss-up. So that was our matchups for week 9. Now, I would talk player of the week, but we already know who it is.
Oh,
Joe Mixon. Come on. There's no question about that.
No.
Yep, definitely Joe Mixon.
DJ Moore is definitely better.
DJ Moore with
fucking
4
DJ
points
Moore.
or whatever the fuck it was. I'll give honorable mentions to Devontae Adams with 36, Pat Mahomes with 35.
Justin Fields wasn't bad.
Justin Fields.
Really
I was going to say Justin Fields. Surprisingly, no one had him in our league. But that's changed now. And Justin Fields broke a single game rushing record for a quarterback. He had like 170 some rushing yards in a regular season game. So Justin Fields looked pretty legit in Chicago, I will say.
He's a really good fantasy quarterback, just not a good Bears quarterback.
Yeah,
because he still lost that game.
Let's talk the big trade that went down between you and Cameron, Nick. So you acquired a lot of draft picks. Okay, so the trade went Double Gulp Cup sends Curtis Samuel and Josh Jacobs to Judge Judy in return for a 2023 13th round draft pick, a 2023 15th round draft pick, a 2023 7th round draft pick, a 2023 another 13th round pick from Dyson, and a 2023 13 round pick from my team. So do you think that's going to improve your odds next year at all there, Nick?
I was lacking in draft picks, and I know that I thought it was a pretty good trade. I had Josh Jacobs. He's okay. Sometimes he has those really big games, but it really depends on Vegas. Curtis Samuel, he's been good for me, but I just have Christian McCaffrey now, and he's definitely a bigger playmaker now. But yeah, I didn't think it was a bad trade. I needed draft picks. I only had 5?
Something nutty like that.
Yeah, so I definitely needed draft picks, and I think me and Cameron made a pretty good trade, according to my opinion.
Yeah. So Cameron, how do you feel?
But Cameron's getting some good players. So
giving up all those draft picks, and do you feel comfortable with Josh Jacobs and Curtis Samuel to produce for you?
Oh yeah, I do. Josh Jacobs is RB7 right now, and I feel like it'll be higher than that after the season. Curtis Samuel, he has upside. The upside's there. He just needs good quarterback play. And
recently he's been doing
for the draft wise, I'm so good for draft picks.
I think it was a good draft.
I think that's a decent deal. And you didn't really have to give up any super high picks, Cameron, so I think that's pretty fair.
It was more quantity of later round picks. But
now you're actually going to be able to draft.
That's exactly what
instead of a bunch of waiver wire bums.
Biggest thing was I wanted to stay in the top 5 picks with that trade. That was I want to stay in the top 5 picks of the draft, top 5 to 6, I would say.
Yeah. And I just wanted draft picks, so
definitely.
Well, you didn't want, you needed draft picks.
I needed draft. Okay, it looks like I just pulled it up. I had 5 draft picks.
Oh my
for
god!
Next year, without that trade, I would not have had anything.
And if we are a bigger league next year, you'd have been screwed.
Literally a third of your team would have been people you drafted.
To be honest, I'm still in that mentality. Just win now and not later.
Well, 8-1, I would hope you'd be in that mentality.
Yeah.
It's time for you to kind of go for the gusto here. Now, next year could be a whole different question. But
I'll fucking wear a cow bikini if I have to.
Oh, bikini!
I'll buy it. I'll buy it right now. I'm ready. I'll go outside.
Yeah.
Would you still do that even if you win?
Next year? Yeah, maybe.
Here you go.
Everyone's gonna be dressed up for the draft in suits, and that's how Nick's gonna show up.
Cow bikini.
I'm gonna have that's what I should do for the draft. It's gonna be me with a cow mask on, and then me with a cow bikini.
You should be like one of those UFC girls that hold up like the round cards. You can just do that for our draft rounds. Round
Week
one.
one.
I should do it in front of Chick-fil-A. I think they'd really like me if I did that.
Yeah, there you go. Free chicken sandwiches for life.
Yeah.
You're gonna wear cow stuff.
Get them to sponsor the
Or
brand while
chicken
you're at it too.
There
Don't
you go.
you know their fucking campaign, Dalton?
No, I don't.
It's the cow that they use as their mascot, and the cow holds like a sign that says "Eat more chicken."
Eat more chicken.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know.
You know, they don't want you to eat more beef, and so that's the whole thing. That's a different spiel, but that trade worked out pretty decent, I think, for both of you. Well, obviously, we'll have to see in the long run, but we'll have to see. So let's move into the waiver wire ads from this week that just went down today. We had 12 new claims processed and then a couple here and there after. So we'll just go down the line here. Bryce, you picked up Tennessee's defense and dropped the Kansas City defense. I like that. Against the Broncos, who've been struggling on offense.
I'm hoping I actually get a defense that does good for once. This whole year I've had
wood
defenses.
right now.
I am. I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah. And then Greg ended up getting Tyler Algier, running back from the Falcons, and dropped the New England Patriots defense due to them being on bye. That's a decent pickup. He had the limited amount of touches he had, he was pretty good. And then Cooper added Matt Gay and dropped Evan McPherson. And then what I would say is the biggest pickup on the waiver wire today. Dalton, you added Justin Fields and dropped Derek Carr. You were the lucky guy to get Justin Fields. We had 3 different claims on him. Myself, you, and Nick, and you were the one who prevailed. So you must feel pretty happy about that.
I do, because I'm sure, as everyone knows, I did not draft the greatest of quarterbacks.
I need a quarterback. My quarterback has a UCL injury.
Well, that's too bad,
You
isn't
should have
it?
used your waiver claims a little bit better.
Yeah, I know.
And now you're stuck with fucking Marcus Mariota.
Whoa. Don't hate on the guy.
Hey, he played in Pet Detective. He's a good person.
What?
Did he? What?
You guys ever
Marcus
watched Ace
Mariota?
Ventura Pet Detective?
Marcus
No
Mariota
way
wasn't in Pet
No,
Detective?
there's no fucking way.
Well,
There's
there's
no
a
fucking
character
way.
after
Wasn't in
him.
the
I don't know if
movie?
it was
One sec.
him.
One
but
sec.
He was there was a character of him. I never actually looked if it was him, because when I watched it, I was never into football. But yeah, because the football team that's dealt with in the movie is the Dolphins, because they have an actual
Mariota's on
mascot.
the Falcons.
No, you're wrong. What?
He is now.
Marcus
He was never
Mariota was on the
Falcons.
Titans.
That's Ray Finkel.
Nah.
You're talking about Ray Finkel, the
Yeah.
kicker on the Dolphins in the movie.
Laces out there.
I had a long day. Okay.
Laces out.
Marcus
Laces out.
Mariota's like 25. That movie's older than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, people make
Hey.
mistakes. What do you do?
Oh, I make a lot
Yeah.
of mistakes.
So
Yeah,
Dyson
that's why you're.
got
grade
Darnell
5.
Mooney, Justin Fields' partner there, and he dropped Antonio Gibson. And then Nick, you added Odell Beckham Jr. Hopefully OBJ signs to a team, because you might need him coming up here. And then I picked up Danny Jones, Danny Dimes, dropped Raheem Mostert. I need a quarterback for this week. Lamar is on bye. Cameron, you added the Atlanta Falcons defense and dropped the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Now, with this Falcons defense, the last time they played the Panthers, it was pretty high scoring. Do you expect it to be different?
Yeah, I do. I'm big on the Falcons right now. I'm cheering for them to win that division. Not really this matchup that was appealing to me. It's that I can stream this defense for next 4 weeks.
That is nice. That is pretty nice then. So decent pickup there. Then we had a couple of kicker pickups. I'm not really going to go over those. They're
I'm
kickers.
not going to go over the greatest kicker, Graham
You picked
Gano.
up 2 kickers and you dropped one of them. So, but that's
Yeah.
not important, Nick. So
Graham
then
Gano season.
I added the Denver Broncos defense and dropped the Buffalo Bills defense. And now there might be red flags of why are you dropping the Bills defense, but they're playing the Vikings and I also have Justin Jefferson. So I needed a team that I don't have any of the players on the opposite team. So I picked up the Denver Broncos. Hopefully they can stop Malik Willis. And if you watched the last Sunday night game, Malik Willis looked lost at the end of the game trying to conduct a game-winning drive. So I'm not really impressed by him. If you want to hear about that more, go to Primetime Rundown, obviously. We had a little discussion about that. But so, like I said before, Nick, you added Marcus Mariota. What do you expect out of him? For him to be decent or what?
So I had him 2-3 weeks ago, and he wasn't that bad. Like Cameron said, Falcons aren't that bad. I'm just expecting him to be average, give me that good 18. But yeah, he's just right now we just gotta figure out the Josh Allen situation, and if he does go down, and looks like I'm gonna put in Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. Then Bryce, you added Deion Jackson and dropped Robert Tonyan. What's the move there for?
Sir.
If Jonathan Taylor doesn't play?
Yeah, I figured might as well have RB2, even though he's not been very good. It's just, might as well have a backup plan to the backup plan.
It is a good idea.
Just gotta stay strapped or get clapped. So
there you go. Stay strapped or get clapped. And then the final move, Nick, you added Terrence Marshall, wide receiver on the Panthers. So how do you feel about that one? Is he a bench pickup?
I'm not really. Yeah, he's more like a bench pickup. He did pretty good for the last 2 weeks. I'm expecting him to continue that. Mostly if I'll start him or not. But there's that big QB situation in Carolina, so I don't know
what's going on there. That's a revolving door.
It's bad. It is very bad.
Different quarterback like every week. Is it PJ Walker? Is it Baker Mayfield? Is it Sam Darnold?
At this point, I should just suit up in a Panthers uni, and I'd be.
And the funny thing is, you'd probably play better than any of them.
Yeah, I know. I haven't played QB since 3 years ago, so
yeah.
It's and with me being a Panthers fan, it's painful to watch.
I would imagine it has to be.
It must be.
Okay,
it's
so
as bad as being a Packers fan.
That's brutal. Start Jordan Love right now.
The record's better than the Panthers.
Yeah, but when you know that you have won the Hall of Fame.
Fucking pain.
Broncos fan is top of that list.
You want to talk about continuous fucking pain? Go look at the Broncos seasons for the past how many fucking years? Just pain.
I see
especially
the tears
when they trade for
down Cameron's side right now.
Broncos country. Let's cry.
Broncos country.
It's like that video of that Broncos player where the tears just run down like you turned on a faucet. They're just running down my face right now. Just why? Why do you have to do this to me every fucking year?
Has God forsaken me? That's
University of Georgia.
Hey, but now the Packers fans know how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm starting to feel it. Honestly,
Seahawks fans
start Jordan Love.
You wouldn't know.
Tank for a top 10 draft pick. If Love sucks, take a quarterback. If not, take a receiver. But that's it. That's all I got to say.
They should just sign OBJ.
It's too late.
Honestly, might as well get rid of old ass A-Rod and start paying Odell. Maybe he'll actually do something.
Yeah. I'm ready to call this
season
a wash. It's over.
Minimum, so it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I could literally throw the ball better than Aaron Rodgers, and that is saying something.
Yeah.
And I don't care if Aaron Rodgers himself hears this. I mean every fucking word.
Packers fans are mad.
You are dog shit. You are a true piece of trash.
It's like that EDP meme where EDP's like,
you screwed your team over so hard. We got rid of the number one receiver in the nation.
You guys lost to the Lions.
All because you wanted more money.
You know how we lost to the Lions?
That is a disgrace.
It wasn't even that the Lions played good.
Interceptions.
Yeah, it wasn't even that the Lions played good. We just played worse. Terrible.
Yeah.
The Lions were bad. We were just worse. It's tough times being a Packers fan, and I don't know if we're ever going to see the sun again for a while. So,
oh my gosh, you know how I feel now.
Yeah, the sun sets down on Green Bay, and the rain clouds are coming in. The Jordan Love rain clouds are coming in. Okay, so that about wraps the waiver wire adds up. Let's move into the predictions for the Week 10 matchups. To run down the prediction records right now, I am currently 9-9. Dyson, who is not with us, is 0-3. Nick is 8-10.
Loser.
Dalton is 4-5. Bryce is 7-8, and Cameron is 6-6. So no one's got a winning prediction record. That's a little unfortunate, isn't it? Let's talk Dalton taking on Dyson. So 50 Shades of Trey taking on Nick's Chubb. Dalton, you're coming in at 3-6 in this game. Dyson's at 5-4. But you just picked up Justin Fields. What's your thoughts coming into this game?
Well, since I got that waiver claim with Justin Fields and having him put in, I have better confidence into this game. I think it's going to be like when I played him before. It's going to be a close match, which is what I'm hoping for because then it's fun. But I'm hoping to come out on top.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about your team this week. I like Justin Fields versus Detroit. Dalvin Cook versus Buffalo might be a little rough, depending on how the Buffalo defense plays. And obviously, you got that whole debacle if you're going to start Damian Pierce or pick up a different defense, or if you're just going to run it. And
he's questionable right now with a shoulder injury, so I'm just kind of waiting to see on that before I make my play. Because I think I might take the chance and play him if he's healthy and hope that both my defense and him can do good.
As for Dyson, he's getting Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb back in the lineup this week. So that's going to be pretty beneficial for him. Michael Pittman is kind of a question mark. They don't really know what they're doing in Indianapolis, per se. They just hired Jeff Saturday as their head coach, who only coached high school football. So that's cool.
And had a losing record.
I will say, when he did host, when he was the coach of high school football, he was 3-6. So
exactly. I expect that to be a dumpster fire. I like Jeff Saturday. He was on the Packers for a year, but I don't think he's coaching material. But honestly, I just think Jim Irsay is like, fuck it, let's see what happens. So
fuck it, we ball.
As for my prediction, I'm going to go with Dalton this week. I think he's going to pull one out here. He put up a lot of points against Craig last week, and I feel like it's time for him to claim the victory here, and Dyson's going to go into downfall, but we'll see. Cameron, what do you think?
I can see the smoke coming out of your ears, buddy. Get those gears turning.
I like Justin Fields versus Detroit. I don't know about the whole Cortland Sutton situation.
That's true.
Yeah, but I got to pick Dalton this week.
Who? Dalton?
Hey, yeah, Dalton.
Okay. Jesus fuck.
Need some WD-40 on those gears, buddy.
Holy
Jesus!
I can see the math equations around his head.
I can smell the smoke from here.
He's like fucking Albert Einstein over here. He's like,
how it was
carry the two. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so
hey, that was one time, all right? One time.
It's been more than one time.
It was not one time.
Okay, maybe 2 times. Maybe 2
You're like,
times.
all right, let me talk.
Zero
here.
behind that.
Let's talk about this matchup. Proceeds to talk about the matchup for half hour.
Well, what do you want me to do? Just sit here and put my thumb up my ass? No, I'm going to talk. It's a podcast. We're going to talk.
At least so ramble on about what you're talking right now, Bryce. Let's get your prediction on it.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah. Who do you think?
All right, someone start your timer.
Dalton.
All right, there you go.
Short
About time.
Dalton.
Nick, what do you think?
I'm going with Dalton.
Jesus Christ,
I like
clean
Justin
sweep.
Fields.
Dyson is on the downwards climb.
I've been saying
That's
this.
all I'm saying.
I've been saying this. Dyson's going downhill.
But I do want to make one comment on this matchup quick that I think is to make the game interesting. We each have a wide receiver on our team for the opposing quarterback.
That'll be fun.
Interesting.
So I think that's going to be an interesting
Tyreek Hill's been doing better.
And then he's got Mooney and I have Fields, so I think it's going to be interesting.
There you go. All right. Next matchup we'll get into is Judge Judy taking on Watson's Massage Parlor. Cameron, you're coming in at 3-6. Bryce, you're coming in at 2-7. Kind of seems like here, if Bryce can get a W, then it's really going to mix it up at the bottom. If not, Bryce is going to be kind of pushed farther down. So, Cameron, how do you feel coming into this game?
The start of this week, I was down in the dumps.
Still are.
team has really good fucking players. They just don't fucking play good, and everybody puts fucking numbers up
boo-hoo.
against me.
Low-key
You can
chip
call me
there.
a clown
Let me
and
play
say
a
whatever
sad
you
song
want.
on the world's smallest violin.
Okay, you can call me a
Cameron,
clown.
you
Call
sound
me
like
whatever
me
you
the whole
want.
year. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Can this be
Okay.
game of the week?
Feeling a lot better now that I got Josh Jacobs. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Right. Bryce, how do you feel?
I feel like this is gonna go either one of two ways. Either A, Cameron's
Shit
gonna
the bed.
shit the bed, and I'm gonna
Also shit the bed.
or I'm gonna get my ass handed to me and shit the bed. Yes, there's only one way this will go. It's not gonna be close. It's either gonna be super far, or either way. There's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be either one side wins all the way or the other side wins all the way.
Regardless
That's
of
how
who
it's gonna
wins,
go.
you better change the sheets.
So it's just a
True.
battle of who can shit the bed more.
Yeah, we'll
that what
see.
we're-
Battle of the
All right.
bed shitters.
So, Dalton, who do you think's going to win this game?
I think Cameron's gonna shit the bed just a little less.
Just a little less. So, you think both people are going to end up shitting the bed. So, Cameron, you're predicting to win. Is that correct?
Correcto mundo.
We're going to get demonetized. We're not even monetized, but we're going to get a copyright
We're gonna get
strike
strike on TikTok.
for all the shit talk. Nick, who do you think's going to win?
Bryce just had that little hiccup last week, but I think he's gonna come back and beat Cameron. So I got Bryce on this one.
Bryce. All right. I'm going to put my faith in Cameron this week. I don't really know about Josh Jacobs and Curtis Samuel. I think they can produce, but honestly, Cameron's been really unlucky, and David Montgomery.
I hope it stays
question.
that way.
But Bryce's lineup is kind of a hit or miss kind of thing, I think, usually. So I think they're going to miss this week.
I
and I'm
just
going to
like
go
the
with Cameron.
Alvin Kamara versus Pittsburgh. That's what I like.
That will be pretty nice if fucking Andy Dalton can get his shit together. But
Debo's back, so hopefully he does something. But we also have Christian McCaffrey on the 49ers. So I don't know how much you're going to use Debo because they're both Swiss Army knives for Niners. So we'll see.
all right, so let's talk the next game here. Let's do Dak to the Future. Myself coming in at 5-4, taking on Jordan's Nut, who's been red hot. He's also at 5-4. That's Greg. Looking at this matchup here, I have a lot better of a projection to win right now, but projections don't really mean shit. So
Not when it comes to Greg.
yeah, Greg's lineup just kind of wins over and over again. And my only question in my lineup, I think, this week is my only kind of flurry spot is DeAndre Swift. I don't really know if he's still going to get the same production that he would have if he's healthy, and I don't know if he's going to get more production than last week, but I don't really have a lot of options because Lamar's on bye, Mark Andrews is on bye, Garrett Wilson's on bye, T. Higgins is on bye. So we're kind of working with whatever we got. And I like Cordero Patterson against the Carolina Panthers, so we'll see. So let's hear from Nick here. Who do you think's going to win?
It's definitely going to be a close one, but I just like Greg. He's fucking amazing right now. So he's going to be that top 3 person.
All right, Dalton, who do you think?
Jarrett, I'm sorry to do this to you, buddy, but I got to go with Greg on this one. He's just in the hot seat. I don't know what to say.
Let's hear Bryce.
Jarrett?
Yes.
As much as it says you're winning right now, I like the look of Cowboys defense versus Green Bay. If Aaron Rodgers plays as bad as he plays, if he played as bad as he played last week, this week, that defense is going to have a lot of points. So I think that's going to be one of the upsets. So I'm going to go with Greggy.
Jared has a lot of people on bye. I got to go with Greg. Even though I don't like this Tyler Algier
Really?
in the lineup.
I like that. He's been pretty.
Okay,
Just
he
because
used
the
his
projection
opportunities
says
last
7.
week, but Cordell Patterson is going to get more carries this week. He was coming off of IR, so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm going with Greg.
So the odds are stacked against me, and I will say, I'm coming for Greg's fucking neck.
Oh shit!
Things must fall, my friends.
Just be thankful he doesn't have Joe Mixon playing.
We'll see what happens there. And Ramondre Stevenson's off too. So let's get into the game of the week here. Double Gulp Cup. Nick coming in at 8-1, taking on Big Ben Sexton, who's at 5-4. And this matchup, it's going to be a real question if Josh Allen's healthy or not.
That's
Regardless,
going to be the biggest factor.
If he's healthy or not, I'm going to go with Nick in this matchup because I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a good Sunday night. And Kenneth Walker might play pretty decent. I don't expect as big of an output from him against Tampa Bay, but I still think he'll have a decent game. And Cooper Kupp against Arizona, I like a lot. So I'm going to go with Nick in this one. Go with Mr. 8-1 over here, and he'll go to 9-1. But obviously, only time will tell. Bryce, who do you have in this matchup?
Nick voted for me this week to kick Cameron's ass. So I'm going to vote for him this week to kick Cooper's ass. I'm going with Double Gulp Cup.
Cameron, who do you have?
I said it before. I'll say it again. Cooper's team has holes in it. Nick's going to win this week.
Dalton, who do you have?
Nick.
That was good.
Sweet to the point. Looks like we got a clean sweep for Nick here. Don't let us down. That's all I'll say.
But no one's reaching me for the top place. I think I got the first seat clinched.
Okay, so that's the predictions for Week 10. We'll see how they pan out in next week's show, and that's gonna wrap it up for us at the Hardcount Heroes Fantasy Show. Please take the time to check out our Instagram and our TikTok. We have a new graphics package, and we've been working a lot on getting good posts on there, good quality posts. So if you want to go interact with that, that would be great. We'd love to get some feedback from it. That would also be appreciated. And we're not far from the fantasy playoffs, so expect some big coverage on that as well. And Nick, the giveaway, is that still going on?
Yeah, so we're still doing Road to 100. We're just hoping to get 100 followers on our Instagram, and we're planning on doing a giveaway on that. So
I believe we're currently at 82 followers on Instagram right now. So
we're in there.
Tell people to follow, get everyone else to follow, and we'll get to 100 and we'll do a giveaway. So it'll be a lot of fun. So that's pretty much it. What's our last words, guys?
Don't be afraid to comment your predictions for these games too. See if you can do better than us.
My final words. Cooper's gonna gulp this big L.
Hey yo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Glad he chose that section of the alphabet.
I think he's gonna be gulping. That's right. We'll see y'all next week.
Country, let's ride.